Blessed, loving, blessed day. Boxing world, boxing nation, fighting world, fighting nation. It's Coach Fighting. This is real life boxing, man. And right now we're gonna do a post-fight breakdown of Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz. Let me put my shades on because was up kind of late last night with all the excitement for the fight, and I just finished a few rounds on the bag and had some clients, and we did some boxing fitness. So let me start off by saying, with these videos, I might lose some subscribers. Listen, you guys don't be in your feelings. I don't play both sides of the field. I'm a boxing fan, you know what I mean? And like I've said in videos before, no fighter is above criticism, and and no fighter is above being praised for when they overachieve or when they, go out there and do what they're supposed to do. So let me start by saying, shout out to Bruce fucking Vane, because Bruce Vane did a video was saying, was Anthony Joshua exposed? And he said no. I'm gonna start off by saying, I don't feel like Anthony Joshua was exposed. Anthony Joshua could have made this fight a lot easier for himself if he simply used his jab. Let me just start by saying that. If he just used his jab, he could have made this fight a lot easier for himself. Just the lack of a jab, got him in trouble. Just allowing Andy Ruiz to walk towards him and to close the distance without really, having to work that hard to close the distance. So I'm freestyling, but I'm gonna try to stay, on track and on point. Anthony Joshua looked like he was completely gassed at the end of the first round. Now, I've watched this fight about 4 or 5 times already. You guys gotta know how I do it, man. I'm a boxing fan. I watch the fights over and over and over, especially if there's good action. I like to study, what's going on. So Anthony Joshua was gassed by the end of the first round. Another thing is, he didn't look comfortable at all. He looked really nervous, and I don't know if it was his United States debut, if it was because of that. I really don't know, but he looked like he was in his head. We don't like to see fighters come out dry. We want fighters to work up a sweat in the locker room when they're warming up or when they're hitting the pads. But he was sweating like profusely while the pre-fight, while Michael Buffer was announcing the fight, he was sweating profusely. I mean, from the minute that he got in the ring, he just did this thing where he leaned back on the corner and just had his hands on the ropes. He's chewing on his mouthpiece. He just did not look like his head was in the game from the very beginning of the fight. And I said this on the video that I did last night. Again, he didn't look like he was in the fight. He looked gassed after the first round. He wasn't using his jab. Now, you expect him, for being so big and for being that much bigger than Andy Ruiz, that he would impose his will on Andy Ruiz and use to his advantage, whatever the advantages he had over Andy Ruiz, his size, use those, the longer reach, using his advantage. Instead, Andy Ruiz was the one who imposed his will, and he used his advantages over Anthony Joshua, which would be fast hands, and counterpunching. Fast hands and counterpunching. Now, at first sight, it doesn't look like Andy Ruiz, he doesn't look the part. Now, he was in physical better shape than Anthony Joshua last night. And what I mean, I'm not talking about muscles. I'm talking about wind, being able to fight for 12 rounds. Like I said, Anthony Joshua just completely gassed after the first round. And just really allowed Andy Ruiz to let Andy Ruiz do what he had to do instead of imposing his will on Andy Ruiz, not using his jab, not using his straight punches. Even if you look at in the third round, Anthony Joshua knocked out Andy Ruiz with a left hook. So if you look at that that sequence of punches, all right, they threw a couple punches, Andy Ruiz got inside, they threw a couple punches, and Anthony Joshua landed a nice, clean, tight inside hook, on the inside. Now, for my liking, he let Andy Ruiz get too close to him. And even Andy Ruiz said that he was opening up a little bit too much. You know what I mean? He just let Andy Ruiz get way too close to him without, using his jab. He didn't make Andy Ruiz respect his punching power from long range. He wasn't using his jab. And now, he was just parring with his jab, parring with his jab, parring with his jab, parring with his jab. Now, Anthony Joshua literally looks like he's about a foot taller than Andy Ruiz. And I know it's not that much, but when they're both in their stance, he literally looks like he's a foot taller than Andy Ruiz. Now, Andy Ruiz is walking right in to Anthony Joshua, just walking him down. And Anthony Joshua is pawing at him with his jab, like this, instead of really sticking that jab into Andy Ruiz's head and making Andy Ruiz go like this. He's kind of just pawing with it. Now, he was able to touch Andy Ruiz with his jab because Andy Ruiz, would touch it sometime, not even really parrying it, just catching it a little bit. But it wasn't a stiff jab. If he was to put that stiff jab in Andy Ruiz's face all night, would have made it a much easier fight. He could have busted up Andy Ruiz's face by just using his jab alone. You know what I mean? Because Andy Ruiz, he moves his head, but he doesn't move his head good enough to be able to avoid AJ's jab if it was a strong, stiff jab, and if he was doubling up on it. Andy Ruiz doesn't move his head, that good to be able to avoid that jab, but Anthony Joshua wasn't throwing it. Of course, Andy Ruiz could slip the right hand because he could see it coming from a mile away. Anthony Joshua was like a foot taller than him. It's coming from up, you know what I mean? So he sees that coming from a mile away. So without popping the jab and blinding him with the jab, Anthony Joshua was never going to be able to land, that two like that. That's why Andy Ruiz was able to slip it all the time and then come back with his plethora of punches. Now, another thing, I said this, last night. Every time Anthony Joshua would punch now, we could tell that Anthony Joshua was definitely trying to get Andy Ruiz out of there, even after Anthony Joshua dropped Andy Ruiz, and then Andy Ruiz came back and dropped Anthony Joshua. So if you haven't, listened to the videos or you don't know what's going on, Anthony Joshua dropped Andy Ruiz in an exchange with a left hook in the third round. And in that very round, when Anthony Joshua got up and went to finish Andy Ruiz, he got caught himself in an exchange with a left hook right on the top of the head that really messed him up. And it doesn't look like AJ maybe never recovered from that shot, for the rest of the fight. Really threw off his equilibrium, really had his legs, messed up. But, great job by Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz was countering. What I liked about Andy Ruiz, and this is what I mean about Anthony Joshua, not being defensively responsible. Even when AJ, threw a big shot, and like I said, you could tell that AJ was still trying to get him out of there, after they went through the sequence of knocking each other down in the third round. You can still tell. So in the fourth round, they didn't do much. They both took that round, off. And then in the fifth round, AJ came back throwing some big shots, and you could tell AJ was still trying to get him out of there. The problem, though, is that AJ's feet are very slow, and he doesn't move his head. Not to mention, he keeps his left hand down, and I didn't like that either. So every time AJ would throw a hard punch, like I said, whether he landed the punch or not, Andy Ruiz was coming right back with like 3 or 4 or 5 punches, not just one punch, not just a one punch, counter punch. He's coming back with like a combination of hard shots. And Anthony Joshua just had a hard time, dealing with that. Now, I will say this. I do not feel like Anthony Joshua was exposed because we saw things that we already knew Anthony Joshua struggled with. We seen his stamina. We know that he had stamina issues because he always kind of, slows down mid to late rounds. So we already knew that AJ had stamina issues. We already knew that that AJ is kind of chinny, kind of has a weak chin. We already knew that Anthony Joshua doesn't really move his head. We already knew that he's kind of stiff, he's kind of robotic. So, these are things that we already knew about Anthony Joshua. And to me, it wasn't his skill set. It wasn't so much that Andy Ruiz was a better fighter than Anthony Joshua, because like I said, to me, if Anthony Joshua just used his jab, he makes it a much easier fight. And I mean, I don't know, you can disagree, you can agree, but like I said, I've watched the fight 5 times, and I tell even my fighters, when a guy is walking towards you like that, without really doing anything, he's just pretty much walking you down, you gotta use your jab and your 1-2 hard, you know what I'm saying? Hard and fast, and you gotta be able to change levels. Drop down, go to the body every once in a while, but I don't think that AJ did what he necessarily needed to do, you know what I mean, to win the fight. Just abandon the jab completely. Not to mention, this dude was completely gassed, and I felt like that was part of the reason, why he couldn't continue fighting. He was gassed. I felt like he was hurt. I felt like he was hurt too, but not as hurt as he was gassed. I mean, in the last knockdown, Ruiz threw a bunch of punches, and none of them really hit AJ flush, but he just went down to a knee. The referee asked him multiple times, and he just looked like he was done. So for AJ, I feel like AJ definitely needs to put the weights down, run a little bit more instead of lifting so much weights. Man, does AJ need a new trainer? Does he need a new group of trainers? That's another topic for a different video, but I just wanted to give you guys, the fight breakdown on Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz. Great job by Andy Ruiz. Like I said, Andy Ruiz came out there and imposed his will on Anthony Joshua. The advantages that he had, which wasn't many, which was just his hand speed, you know what I mean, and that he was durable. He used those things to his advantage, where Anthony Joshua did not use his advantages to his advantage. So congratulations to Andy Ruiz for becoming the unified heavyweight champion of the world and the first ever Mexican heavyweight champion of the world. And I'm just, like I said, I want Anthony Joshua to go back to the drawing board, fix the mistakes. Like I said, these are mistakes that we've been seeing from Anthony Joshua, for years now. So, and it finally caught up to him. So does AJ need new trainers? I also feel like bringing him to Miami to train, for his first time, for his first fight in the States, taking him to Miami to train, I feel like that was a definite mistake. That was a no-no. Miami, man. I love Miami. I call Miami like, my second home. I love going to Miami. I absolutely love going to Miami. I don't see Miami being a good place to take somebody to go train, for their first time in the States. They should have took him somewhere, somewhere more rugged, more, Detroit, Philadelphia, maybe even Big Bear over there where they're more isolated. I mean, I know it's in California, but they're more isolated over there. Miami, you see this dude on his Instagram. He's running down the boardwalk, South Beach. And I know that's South Beach. That's right by the damn by the hotel. You know what I mean? I know that's by the strip of the hotels, running down the beach with his shirt off. So I think that definitely has something to do with it. Doesn't look like he had a good training camp. To tell you the honest to God truth, after Jarrell Big Baby Miller failed his drug test and Ruiz, you know, took the challenge, Anthony Joshua probably underestimated him and you know, turned down his training a notch and probably just wasn't, you know, thinking about it on that level. You know what I mean? Probably thought that he was gonna be able to give Andy Ruiz a thumping, but it didn't work out in his favor. So man, you guys tell me what you guys think about this in the comment section. Tell me what y'all think. Did he get exposed? Did he not get exposed? Was it just because of the lights being in the US for the first time? Was it the nerves? You know, you guys tell me what you guys think about it in the comment section. I'm gonna leave you guys with that, man. I'm gonna be back later on from the studio with more videos. Right now we are in Body Prime Fitness, new facility. I'll see the Body Prime over there in the wall. Very nice facility. Lit. I just finished my workout and doing some workouts with some clients. But like I said, you guys tell me what you guys think about it in the comment section. It's Coach Fire. This is Real Life Boxing. I want y'all to protect. He could have kept AJ up. He could have kept Ruiz off. With a simple jab, just like that, family. Simple jab, just like that. Simple. Simple. Could have kept them off with a simple jab. Y'all tell me what y'all think about it in the comment section, man. Protect yourself at all times. Peace and one love. It's Coach Fire. It's Real Life Boxing.
So if you like this video and you would like to see more great content like this on the channel, go to the PayPal link or the Cash App link in the description and show your appreciation by donating any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. This is Real Life Boxing.